You know that feeling when you're so absorbed in what you're doing that time just seems to disappear? Well, today, we're going to dive into the science behind that exact feeling. It's a powerful mental state, and it's called flow.
I mean, think about it. Have you ever been so deep into a task? Maybe you were writing or designing or just trying to solve a really tough problem that the rest of the world just kind of melts away? You're not even thinking, you're just doing. Every move just works. That feeling? That's the state of flow. I love how the author Stephen Kotler describes it. He calls it being swept away by the river of ultimate performance. It's this picture of high-speed problem-solving, where every single action just flows seamlessly into the next one.
Now, the official term for this is, you guessed it, flow. It was coined by the positive psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and yeah, I know that name is a mouthful, but his definition is perfect. It's this incredible state of energized focus, where you're so completely involved in what you're doing that you literally lose all sense of space and time.
So, how do we actually harness this power? Well, that's what this explainer is all about. We're going to cover what flow is, some of its really surprising benefits, the specific conditions you need to achieve it, a 5-step toolkit to get you there, and finally, how to make it a real habit in your life.
So, at its very core, the flow state is all about having an optimal experience. It's that magic moment of complete immersion where your self-consciousness just vanishes, time speeds up, and you are 100% present in the activity itself.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about feeling good in the moment. Getting into a state of flow brings some very real, tangible advantages that can have a huge impact on both your work and your overall well-being.
And the benefits are surprisingly wide-ranging. I mean, sure, you become way more productive and efficient, but your mind also gets sharper, which boosts your creativity and helps you make decisions faster. Plus, that deep immersion is an incredible stress reliever, which naturally leads to feeling much more satisfied with your job. Now, all this might sound a little bit like magic, but flow is not a happy accident. Csikszentmihalyi's research proved that it's actually a predictable state. It shows up when a few very specific psychological conditions are met. And these 3 conditions, they are absolutely non-negotiable. You need clear goals so you know exactly where you're going. You need immediate feedback so you can adjust on the fly. And, this is the big one, you need that perfect balance between how challenging the task is and how skilled you are. This balance is everything. We've all been there, right? If a task is way too hard, you just get anxious. If it's way too easy, you're bored out of your mind. Flow happens right there in that sweet spot, where the challenge pushes your skills to their absolute limit, but not beyond.
Csikszentmihalyi had the perfect analogy for this. He said to imagine you're skiing down a really difficult slope. Your attention is so completely focused on your body, the skis, the snow, that there's just no mental bandwidth left for distracting thoughts. That intense focus is what makes for a perfect run.
Okay, so how do we find that perfect run when we're sitting at our desks? The good news is we can. We've pulled together the research into a simple 5-step toolkit to help you intentionally trigger a flow state. Here are the 5 steps. First, choose and clarify your task. Second, eliminate all distractions. Third, manage your energy. Fourth, engage in deliberate practice. And fifth, find intrinsic rewards. So let's break down exactly what each of these means. First up, choose your project wisely. You can't find flow in something you find boring or pointless. It needs to be interesting, a little complex, and have a really clear purpose. You have to know exactly what done looks like before you even start.
Step 2 is just critical. You cannot, I repeat, cannot achieve flow if you're being distracted. And I don't mean just minimize them. I mean get rid of them completely. Turn off all your notifications. Put your phone in another room. Let people know you need to focus. Your environment has to support deep work.
Next, you've got to manage your energy like a pro athlete, because intense focus burns a lot of fuel. Figure out your peak performance times are. Are you a morning person or a night owl? And guard that time fiercely. Make sure you're well rested and fed before you start, just like you would for a big game.
Okay, this is where you actively create that perfect challenge-to-skill balance. It's all about deliberate practice. You take a big, complex project, break it down into smaller pieces, and then focus on mastering each one. This is what pushes your skills right into that sweet spot where flow can happen.
And finally, your motivation has to come from the inside. Flow happens when the activity itself is the reward.
Sure, external perks like money or praise are nice, but the real driver has to be the meaning and enjoyment you get from the process.
So how do you make this a regular part of your life? Well, achieving flow isn't like flipping a switch. It's really a practice that you have to cultivate over time, mostly by shifting your focus away from external rewards and toward internal motivation.
It's really all about the why behind your work. So often we're driven by these external things, right? Money, awards, deadlines. But flow is fueled by what's on the inside, a sense of purpose, a deep curiosity, a desire for personal growth. When you shift your focus there, the work becomes truly meaningful.
And that brings us right back to Csikszentmihalyi, who believed that our best moments in life aren't the passive, relaxing ones. They happen when we voluntarily push our own limits to accomplish something that's both difficult and worthwhile. That struggle, that effort, that's what builds mastery, and ultimately, it's what builds happiness.
And that's the beautiful irony of flow, isn't it? That true feeling of effortlessness only comes from working our absolute hardest. It's the foundation of not just great work, but a deeply meaningful life. So I'll just leave you with this question. What worthwhile challenge will you choose to find your flow?